In today's video, I'm going to take you through a free app called ArrangeUs, which makes it really simple to create, animate, remember, and share formations. So whether you're working with a single dancer, 50 dancers, by yourself, or with other choreographers, you're going to want to check this out. I've been using the ArrangeUs app for a couple years now, and it has been a game changer as a dance teacher. I use it basically every single week, especially once we start working on recitals or things like that. Being able to just pull up the app and see who goes where, I can change things around. I can even share my blocking with other teachers if I need a sub or things like that. So it's been amazing, and I wanted to share it with you all. I do know there are other similar blocking apps out there. If there is one that you are interested in or you think I should look at to review or do a tutorial on, please let me know in the comments. For today's video, we're going to go through what I like about the app, what I dislike about the app, and a walkthrough of all the features, both free and paid. And because this might be a slightly longer video, I'll have time codes in the description in case you want to skip around. Also, just to clarify, this is not a sponsorship or anything like that. I just use the app a lot and I think it's been super useful and I wanted to share it with you all. But ArrangeUs, if you see this and want to do some kind of collaboration or want to give me a code so people can try their premium version for free, let me know, hit me up. First, free versus paid. If you want to just go for the free version, you have everything you would need to be able to use it effectively in class. If you want to pay for the premium version, I believe it's $24 or $25 a year, which I think is totally worth it. Free version, you are limited to fewer number of dances. So I think it's 6 or 10, somewhere in that range. For me, I teach more than what was allowed in the free version, so that was a big reason why I ended up paying for it. In the free version, you can add a song and time it to the formations, but you can't change the song once you've picked it. You need the paid version for that. So that is another thing to be careful of in case you end up adjusting the music or changing the song completely. If you have the free version, you'd have to completely recreate the choreography and then add the song back in. If you have the paid version, you can just change out the song. I personally don't use this feature a lot. I think it takes too long to time the formations to the song the way I would like. And it is cool, but it's faster for me if I just play the song and I click through the formations and I just title the formations the time code of the song, so I still have an idea of where it should be if I have to send it to someone else. So in my opinion, not a huge game changer if you are still deciding to go with the free version. In the free version, there are a few direction things that you can't change. So for example, there's a really great feature where you can flip the formations, where you can just swap everything, whether it's from left to right or front and back in case you need to change the orientation. Not a huge deal. It is kind of a pain if you have a lot of dancers and you need to swap things around really quickly. So I do appreciate and use that feature actually a lot. So I would say it makes it worth it to get the paid version of the app. The last difference, I believe, between the free and paid version is custom backgrounds. You can't use custom backgrounds in the free version. You have to pay for that. And all that means is you can import a JPEG into it. So you have, for example, Marley lines, or you could have, I think an example is like a football field or a baseball field, things like that. So if you were using this for like a marching band, for example, that might be useful. You could import the background of the whole football field and then line things up. I don't use this feature personally, but I know one of my coworkers who also uses the paid version. She created a simple JPEG with lines for the Marley strips, and she uses that to help figure out where dancers should be on stage. I have a free JPEG download of those Marley backgrounds for you to use if you decide to get the paid version. I'm going to start with my dislikes because that list is a lot shorter than what I like about the app. Biggest one is I can't rotate it horizontally, and this is Android specific because my coworker who has an iPad, she's able to rotate it and take up the entire screen. Not sure why on Android I've enabled rotation and everything and it won't turn. Maybe it's just I'm doing something wrong, but I can't get it to work. So small thing, but kind of annoying. I wish they would fix that. Second one is not being able to take notes. I wish there was a way to write down notes for each formation. So whether it's a correction I need to make or something I need to adjust, I could write it down in the app. That would be super helpful. And lastly, I wish there was a way to add props onto the stage area to show where dancers can't go, or if I have a smaller platform on stage, trying to see who can fit on there. It just makes it easier. You can kind of work around that with a custom background, but that's more work. You have to take it into something like Canva, add your own square, bring it in. Maybe it's the wrong dimensions, so you have to then go back and re-export it. It's just a lot of hassle. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I do think it would take the app to the next level. Things I like about the app, the free version, again, is super powerful. If you don't want to pay for it, you don't have to, and you can still get a lot of use out of the app. It's fairly intuitive. I think you just click around a little bit and you'll figure out how to add people, remove people, add music, slide things around, rename your scenes. It's all pretty easy to use. An unexpected benefit to this app is my students love it. It's so funny how I'll do all the scenes and I'll animate it and I'll just flip my tablet around and show them, hey, look, so it goes here to here to here, and they'll see all the circles moving and they're like, ooh, ah, oh, that's so cool. So extra perks, it makes you look like a really cool teacher if you're using it in a dance studio. I really appreciate how you can share your formations with other people. There are two ways to do it, and I will show you both methods when we do the walkthrough. But you can either export all your formations as a PDF, so if someone doesn't have the app, they can still see every single formation, and it has people's names, it can be color coded, you can name the scenes, it's really cool. Or you can send them a file that the app can read, so they can download it onto their tablet or their phone and just open up all of your blocking in the app. It's really cool. I've done both and they both work pretty well. And my last thing is it's available for both iPhones and Androids, which is amazing because there were other apps I was looking at before and they were only iOS, and I was like, why? But the fact that it's available for both is great because my coworker, she has an iPad, I have a Samsung tablet, and we're able to still share choreography and work on things together, and it just makes things a lot easier. That's what I like and dislike about the app. If you've used ArrangeUs before and you have thoughts on things that they should add or improve or things that you like, let me know in the comments. Maybe they'll see this video and implement some of our feedback. You never know. All right, so when you open the app, as you can see, I have a lot of dances that I've used this for. But if you don't have any, this will just be blank. You'll see choreographies on the top. But as you can see, you can name each dance. You can tell, or it will tell you how many dancers are in it, how many formations. If you click on the big red button, that's how you can add a new one. So let's just say test formations. And again, I apologize that it's smaller. I can't rotate it. Don't know why. Now you can tell it how many dancers you want. You can always add or remove them later. So let's keep it a little bit simpler. We'll go 5. Let's go. Just to show you, rotation is on. Not rotating. Don't know why. All right, so first thing we're gonna do before we even start to put them on the stage, as you can see, there's the audience on the bottom. Backstage is up top. If you go to the settings icon on the top right, that gear icon, you can choose to snap dancers to the grid, which makes it just easier to keep things symmetrical. You can show dancers' names or remove them and show the numbers. So index number means the number on the person. So right now it's showing. If I remove it, no numbers. I like to keep it on. Change backstage, as you see, there's the crowns. That means you need the paid version of the app. You can change the size of your stage if you need more or less, up to you, and you just hit save. Backstage configuration, you can add how much room you want backstage in the wings. So let's say we need more space in the wings. Now it does take up how much stage space you have, so just be mindful of that. And then we can add some to the back, to the front if there's a lip on the stage or something that they can't go to, but you want to be aware of. But I generally don't have that. And just hit save. You can make sure there's a center indicator. You can show the grid. So for example, if I turn this off, Now you can see no grid, but the grid is super helpful actually. So I always have these on. You can show them, you can invert. So if I want the audience up top, now audience is up top, backstage is on the bottom. I personally usually have audience on the bottom because I'm standing in the front of the room facing the dancers. So my back is to the audience, or I'm downstage. So I like to look at it this way. But if you like to stand behind the dancers in the back, then maybe you would want to flip it. And you can flip it later, but it's a little bit annoying if you don't have the paid version, and I'll show you why in a moment. And then on the very bottom, you can see share choreography. So you hit share and you can export it as a PDF or ArrangeUs file. So again, PDF would just be a PDF of all the formations. And then ArrangeUs would be the actual file, so someone could download it onto their tablet or phone, then open it in the app. It's really cool. I've done it a couple times with my coworkers when I've collaborated on a larger piece, and it's super helpful. You do have to be careful though when, for example, I'm in the studio and she wasn't. I made a change on mine. I need to then make sure I re-export it and send it to her so we have the same version on both of our tablets. Otherwise, she's working on version A, I'm working on version B, and then things get mixed up. All right, but going back, so say we have our 5 dancers. If you look on the bottom, it says dancers, formation actions, formation flips, which again, you have to have the paid version for that. Navigation, 3D view, and settings, which is just more settings for the stage that we looked at already back here. But I could show their names, show the numbers, all of that. Okay, so if we go to dancers, you'll see I can select all. And once a dancer or multiple dancers, these little circles, are selected, I can change the color of all the selected dancers. I could edit their names. So let's say this is Jim, this is Bob, this is Sally, oh, what's another name? This is Sarah, and this is Jake. All right, so now you can see their names. And if I go back to settings, I can turn off the names if I want, but it's super helpful having the names there. And let's say Sally has a solo. I just select Sally, go to dancers, change color. I want Sally to be orange. And there you go. Also, you'll see I can change it for the current scene I'm in or formation, and then, or I could change it to the next one or previous one. So once I have multiple formations, that'll make more sense. And I'll show you what that looks like. But let's say they are gonna start in a V. And all I'm doing is just tapping and dragging. And you'll see it snaps to the grid. So it's either gonna be on in the middle of the square, on the middle of the line, or where the lines join. I can't really put it somewhere else. If I don't like that, I can disable snap to grid, and now I can put it wherever I want. The snap to grid honestly is really nice. So let's say this is our first formation. Okay. Now, I'm happy with that one. It looks a little funky, but whatever. Now, add formation on the bottom. I just tap that. And now we have a new formation. But if I click back and forth, you see all it does is duplicate your previous formation. So now let's say I want them to move forward and them to move out. Sally's gonna stay where she is. Zoom out. Now if I go to formation 1, formation 2, voila. Oh, also, I forgot that backstage is, hold on. Let's change this, invert, there we go. I like it to have audience on the bottom. So we'll just do a couple more of these as an example. I'm gonna add another formation. Let's say they're gonna go to a diagonal. I'm just pinching and zooming to move in and out. And then another one, they're going to make a line. Now, I will say sometimes if you have too many dancers or you're too zoomed out, you'll be trying to tap on a dancer and it's not working. So sometimes I have to zoom in to make sure I'm working with the correct dancer. You can also select multiple dancers. So for example, say I want to make another scene and I want to select Bob and Jim and move both of them. There we go. So if we go back to the beginning, formation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super cool. Now for color, if I go to formation 2 and let's say I don't want Sally to be orange anymore, I want Sally to be red. There you go. But if I go here, Sally is still orange. So instead, if I go to change color, I'm going to do next and current, select red. Now what happens? Sally's red there. Or all the ones past the current one that I had selected. So super helpful. Under dancers, you see there are a couple other things. If I select 2 dancers, so let's go to this formation. Let's say actually I wanted Sally and Jake to be in opposite sides. I can select them both and now swap 2 positions. I use this all the time. It's so much faster than having to click one, drag it over, click the other one, drag the other side. Really cool. Let's say I had 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is the annoying part. Sometimes I miss with my fingers. I'm going to change the color to blue. Now if I select all, select with same, select Sarah, select with same colors, I can select just the blue dancers. So again, really helpful if you have them labeled with maybe your younger dancers are one color, older dancers are another color. You can then select just the older dancers, just the younger dancers. Really, really cool. You can, of course, always delete the dancers. Delete, okay. It will give you a warning because you can remove them from all the formations. But I can always see this undo in the corner above formations. If I hit that, I can undo what I just did. And say I forgot a dancer, which has happened before. I can always add new on the very far right. And I just tap somewhere on the formation to add them. And I can add however many I want and then hit add new again to take us out of that setting. And then from there, I could always select all, edit names, and then name them whatever I want. And hit save, and then change colors, all that good stuff. Now, because I added them in formation 5, if I go to formation 4, they're still there, still there, still there, still there. So if you add a dancer, you're going to have to go back through every single formation and then move them through. So I'd recommend always starting from your first formation and then working through it instead of adding it later in, because it'll totally mess things up. So for now, I'm just gonna undo adding those dancers in. Now, if we go to formation actions, you can copy formation, rename, or delete. Really simple. So if I copy the formation, you'll see now formation 2 has become a copy, and our what was formation 2 is now formation 3. Say I didn't want to do that, I can always delete the formation, and now formation 2 is back where it was again. If I rename it, say it's opening, I can go to the next one, rename it, first song. Now, usually I'll either do the time code of the music I'm using, or if there's a very clear description of what's happening. For example, solo moment, big flip, I don't know, you know what I mean? But you can call it whatever you want. Now, if you're not under formation actions, if you just press and hold, on the one that you, oh, yep, there you go. Then you can also do the same things. Copy, rename, delete. And all I did was press and hold on the formation that I was on. Navigation, you click it, it just takes you to the next formation, previous, go to beginning, go to end. But you can also always just, if I'm just sliding through, I can scroll and then click on any formation that I want. Very simple to use. 3D view, I don't really use this. It's a little gimmicky to me, but what it looks like is that. So now I can move through them. I guess it could be helpful if you're looking at traffic jams where things might have an issue. Everything you have, it just turns into a 3D view, which is cool. But to me, I don't ever really use it. It seems a little gimmicky. Now, formation flips. If you have the paid version, this is what you can do. You can flip it horizontally. And notice this doesn't change the audience backstage orientation. I can flip it vertically, horizontally all, vertically all, meaning all the formations. Versus if I did just the current one, this one would not be flipped. See the difference? And then I can flip everything, and everything, it does change audience and backstage. So for example, this one I use a ton because I might be standing at the front of the room, back to the audience. And so I want it to be audiences on the bottom as I'm looking at all the dancers. But then I might want to go behind them so I can look into the mirror, and then I'll flip this so that way I can see from where I am. So actually flip everything I use all the time. It's really cool. You'll see this music note with the plus icon. If we click on that, that's how you can add a song. Now, like I said, if you have the free version, you can add a song, but then you can't change it if you need to adjust the track or anything like that. So just be careful of that. But you would click on this, go to your downloads or wherever it is. I'm gonna add this song. And you're like, what happened? Well, the plus icon is gone on the music icon, which means we have a song selected. So all we need to do now is hit the music note. Whoa, wait, hold on. Where'd my formations go? Let's see. If I'm gonna X out, test formation. Oh, interesting. Okay, that doesn't normally happen where it just deletes all my formations when I add a song. So that's a bug. So be mindful of that. But let's say, okay, I'm gonna adjust this real quick. X out. And let's just remake this. Or I'm gonna do something. Oh, it deleted all my dancer names as well. Interesting. It like reset everything. Okay, that's not cool. That's also never happened to me before. So I'm not sure what happened. Anyways, let's just make a couple formations. Again, I don't actually use this feature ever because I find it's easier to just play the song and then manually click through the formations. I think it just takes too long to whatchamacallit, do it with the music. I guess one workaround to make sure this doesn't happen is add the song first before you add dancers and names and all that stuff. So let's say we have three formations. I'm going to click on the song now, and now you'll see it takes us into this format where you can see the waveform and these ramps, these triangles. Now, one thing I don't like about my version is because I can't rotate, it stays in this zoomed in version. I can't pinch and zoom out of this view, although I can zoom in more, but it's kind of annoying. But I can, if I put my finger on the waveform part, I can drag through. So you'll notice everywhere where there's that rectangle, that's how long the formation will stay for that music. The triangle is the transition into the next formation. So if I go to the beginning and I hit this little play button, you'll start to hear the music.
me for the little guy. Go against giants.
Now notice when I get to the triangle, and when it gets there, now it's in formation 2. And so you can play through the entire thing like that. If I want to shorten or extend how long that formation is in the music, all I do is tap on formation 2, and I can drag it in or out to make it longer or shorter. Now, the annoying part is, let's say this is where I want it to transition to formation 2. If for whatever reason I decide I need to shorten it, see how it drags the entire thing? So just kind of annoying. That's why I don't use it a lot. I think it's a cool effect to show students, but not super efficient. You can also click on the transition part and make that transition longer or shorter. So for example, say it's pretty fast. If I play it like this, so do you see how, because my transition was really short and then my formation itself was very short, it moved into the third formation almost immediately. So that's how you can adjust it. And what is nice is, let's say I go to formation 3, I can still adjust the formation however I want in case I don't like it. So now it goes from there to there instead of the line where it was. So again, it's cool. You can still edit names, change colors, all that stuff in this music editing scene or format. But I don't use it a lot because I can't zoom out all the way to see my entire stage. I think it just takes a long time, but it is cool. My coworker who has the iPad and she can actually rotate so you see everything much better, she will go through the whole thing and record it. She will go through, assign the formations and everything, and then do a screen recording of the entire thing and then send it or upload it to our Studio Google Drive. So that way the dancers can watch through it and see where they are for all the formations with what part of the music. So it is helpful if you're willing to put in the time to do all that, which I guess I'm just lazier. All right, what else? Oh, if we go back, just so you know, you can always click on these 3 dots on the right side to share, duplicate, rename, or delete the choreography. The last thing I think is the custom backgrounds. So if you click on the link in the description, I will send you a 4 Marley and a 5 Marley JPEG to use for your blocking, if that's helpful. If there are other variations that you would like, let me know and I will do my best to make them and make it available for free for all of you. It's super simple. You're gonna go to settings, change stage background, and this is one that I already imported in, the one that I was telling you about. But if you don't, you'll see they have a football one, basketball, vertical mats. I'm not sure why that's helpful, but let's say we're gonna remove this one. You're gonna go to add custom on the top right, go to gallery. I'm gonna select my 5 Marley one. And now fill, fit, stretch is just how the image will conform to your stage. And this depends on how big you made your stage dimensions versus the dimensions of the image. So you have to play around with it. But fit works pretty well with me, or stretch is probably a good option. And you can see here, you can slide this to change the opacity. So let's try this. I'm gonna hit save. You'll notice show grid automatically got checked off. So I'm gonna bring this back, bring back that. And now we have our grid plus the background, which this can be maybe a little jarring, a little confusing. So a couple things. I might want to, and I just hit settings there. I might not want to snap to grid now because my grid does not align with my Marley lines. And then I might not want to show the grid. And so now I can do it more with just these lines. I could also, let's show grid and change the opacity That honestly makes it worse for this example, but just to show you. So now it looks like that. So you'll see less of the custom background if that is easier for you. And I think that is everything the app has to offer. And there you go. That is a full walkthrough of both the free and paid features of the ArrangeUs app. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you think there's a better app, if you have feedback for this app, all that good stuff, let me know in the comments. Let me know if this was helpful or not. Let me know if you plan on trying the app out. Again, it's totally free, and I think the free version is super helpful already, even if you don't want to pay for it. Like always, make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you know every single time I post a video, and I'll see you next time.